Hello, this is DHG, and for this episode, I'm going to be getting into, oh yes, the legendary Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. One of the more polarizing games in the series, if not the most polarizing of them all, aside from Metal Gear Solid 2. This one had people divided because it had some very lengthy cutscenes, but I thought it wrapped up the story. There wasn't supposed to be a Metal Gear Solid 5 at that point, but I thought it wrapped up the story up until that point pretty well. So without any further ado, let's start this up. This game was, well, like most Hideo Kojima games, it was very unorthodox in many, many ways. About the only normal thing in it is the main menu. Unfortunately, the hardware I'm recording with doesn't give surround sound. That kind of sucks. You can't record PlayStation 3 with HDMI. It's got blockers on it, so I have to use component cables. Picture's not as sharp, but whatever. I mean, that's all I can do. You can see right from the get-go that this game just has epic written all over it. Great music in the background, opening, solid stakes standing there at the grave of the big boss. Let's just watch the opening. Pulls out a smoke. He's an old soldier. Doesn't really understand what he's been fighting for. Now, I was going to continue from my old game here because, as you can see, I have a bunch of Drebin points. I have most of the stuff unlocked. But I can't start a new game that way. So I'll just start from absolute zero. Having all the weapons unlocked doesn't make the playthrough any different. Yes, this is part of the loading, the beginning of the game. I don't know why this is here, or if the game's loading in, or if it's trying to show the dystopic future that Hideo envisioned, which, I mean, it looks like he's cooking bugs and all sorts of shit. Yeah, there's bugs right there now. What does that play into now? Fire Press Vulture. You see the military cans up there. It all plays into the World Economic Forum, you know, you'll eat bugs and be happy, which makes me wonder, since intelligence communities and video games like it, someone put this into context recently for me here, and it really helped me understand why the intel communities, such as CIA, MI6, have such an interest in video games. Hollywood rakes in about $100 billion a year. 100 billion. Music's about 40 billion. The video game industry now, about 280 billion. So there's a lot of money in games. There's also a lot of discourse online, chat between players. Very big thing for the Intel community, reaches many more people than movies. But it makes me wonder if some of these developers, such as Hideo Kojima, or the people from Call of Duty back in 2007 with Call of Duty 4, If they kind of had an idea of where things were going to go, if they were in touch with these people, I always wondered the same about South Park too, since they were about 10-15 years ahead of the curve on everything. So has Hideo Kojima, who made this. You can switch between the different channels here. Hey, there's David Hayter. Oh, Hideo. A nice little play on his name there. Instead of Video, Hideo. He did that in the first game as well. This is an advertisement for the private military corporations, which I supposed at that time, given this was when I think the Iraq War was nearly at its height, and Halliburton and Dynacorp and Blackwater and all those were still heavily involved in military actions. I think Hideo kind of saw forward that national armies were going to play less of a role in the private military corporations, doing that they can do things that national militaries don't have to answer for because of private corporations, that they were going to take over. It hasn't come to that yet, at least anyway. I don't think it ever will. But you go into a lot of narratives in this game that seem to hit a little too close to home now. Shit that I thought was batshit insane back in 2008 when it came out, I thought, never happened. Like the nanotechnologies and nanomachines they talk about in this, they're being developed right now. Big Pharma and Big Tech are getting together in Silicon Valley and they're doing it as we speak. This was also the last Metal Gear game to feature David Hayter as Solid Snake. I always liked him better. I'm not saying Kiefer Sutherland was a bad voice actor or anything like that. Kiefer Sutherland is great. I just like the gruff voice of David Hayter. When I hear him, I think Solid Snake. Jennifer Hale's also in this. She was pretty big in games back at that point. I don't really think she does much in games anymore. And here, war in the Middle East. This is an unspecified Middle Eastern country, but you can obviously tell by the environment where it's supposed to be.
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine.
That has become true.
War has changed. ID tag soldiers carry ID tagged weapons, use ID tag gear. Nanomachines inside their bodies enhance and regulate their abilities. Genetic control, information control, emotion control.
You're talking about the WEF Agenda 2030 right there.
And kept under control.
Everything's maintained for profit. It's a new system of feudalism,
Has changed.
where they own everything and you own nothing.
Tolerance has become the age of control. All in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history.
And he who writes history controls the future.
When the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
He's got a nice looking AK there. I don't really care for the black furniture on the AKs though. Yeah, the concept they get into with this game is that wars are fought for profit. That was something I had a hard time even wrapping my mind around at the time. How could people be so amoral that you would throw people into meat grinders like this just so that corporations can profit? But no, it's been done. It's been going on for the last couple hundred years, maybe longer. The first corporation as we know it exists today was the East India Company out of England. And Smedley Butler wrote a great book called War's a Racket. I forget how to crouch. There we go. Are they the only guns I have at this moment? There's the so-called terrorists.
Chopper! We're surrounded! Damn it, they've got us surrounded! We're being followed! Use the RPGs! Everyone, keep cool! Get a hold of yourself!
He's still got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Can't drop that, I'll get too stressed out. Back in control now. AK-102.
Ready it by selecting weapons from the menu screen.
You got Autocon's tutorial right there. What I think is really cool in this game is every weapon is displayed with its real in-game model. They got licensing rights to all the weapons in this game. And there's a lot of different weapons. It's just so cool to read in. They give kind of like a detailed description of each one here. Let's see if I could get to that. If you're a gun nut like I am, you'll just absolutely love this one. An improved, modernized model of the AK-74. AK-74 was the one that fired the 5.45 by 39 millimeter. The basic design of the original has been tweaked with new materials, a folding stock, and a modified barrel length. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, AK series of weapons of all calibers were produced for export to the West. Oh, that one uses the 5.56. Okay, that would explain the funky looking magazine. I know they're sold here, but I have not come across an AK with 5.56. Normally people over here want to get the original hardware with it. Like my AK fires the original 7.62 by 39. 20 years ago you could get a AK-74 over here, back before all the Russia bans and all that. And the 5.45 ammo was really, really cheap, like 10 cents a round. Not anymore. I wish I would have gotten one back then, but didn't see the need.
Hit him hard! What?
They've all got what looks to be, scars. A new weapon is about to enter the battlefield. These guys don't look very Arabic. Hideo Kojima always did love his mechs. I've never played his Zone of the Enders series, but I gotta get into that shit at some point. I have no equipment to fight those things right now, given that this is a new game.
To run into any gecko along the way.
Something I think's cool. Let me get behind cover here. Oh, it went away. Never mind. I'll show you next time it comes up. You getting shot at. Get some ammo. 5.56 by 45 millimeter. The classic AR-15 round. I don't want to jump on top of that thing. Oh shit, it's coming for me. Bye-bye. Auf Wiedersehen and sayonara. Hey, you got my back? Gotta be another way out of here. It's been so long since I played through this. I wanted to get back into it a couple years ago, right around the time I started this channel. I thought, nah, I'll just wait. Yeah, look in the upper left. See the stress meter? That has all sorts of different effects on the gameplay. Looks like I could sneak across right here. Scheisse! I'm getting the fuck out of here. Got a nice vest. He's a chain smoker. I love AKs, they're such good weapons. They're so simple to take apart and clean. It's like 5 big parts, that's it. Take apart my AR, it's a bunch of different pieces, takes a lot longer to clean. Oh yeah, the cardboard box. It wouldn't be Metal Gear without the cardboard box. I forgot he's got the adaptive armor in this game. That was a little weird. I kind of like the Metal Gear Solid 3 system a bit more. That was where you had to equip the armor in the main menu. In this one, your armor just adapts to the environment. Could he be in there? Squash you like watermelon. It's like they just shit themselves or something. Hideo Kojima's got a lot of quirks to his personality, things he likes to put in games, quite peculiar. Gotta be some of the best in-game music ever. No place for Hideo was written on the box. The thing looks like it's got maybe a 14, 12-inch barrel on it. Got one in the chamber. Konami. I don't think there's ever been a publisher that has become more hated, I mean hated, absolutely despised than Konami did during the PlayStation 4 era. After their falling apart with Hideo Kojima and all the different projects they scraped and canceled, like Silent Hills. Then they even took Hideo Kojima's baby, Metal Gear Solid, and made this absolutely rancid attempt of a game called Metal Gear Survive. God, that game was bad. I thought about doing a how bad is it on it, but that means I'd have to play through it again. This is where the game opens up. I understand that gigantic rod sticking out the front of them is some sort of stealth technology.
Even the dead have ears.
Snake, we've got to go. You've got an old friend waiting for you.
Otacon. The test results.
Proteome analysis was positive, but the mRNA analysis turned up negative. The wrinkled skin, the hardened arteries. Your early aging symptoms look like classic Werner syndrome. But none of the tests were able to pinpoint the cause.
So,
Well, judging by how rapidly the aging has progressed, I'd say
a year at best, right?
yeah. Snake, let's try another doctor.
Something everyone has to deal with when they get older,
I'm not an ordinary man to begin with.
facing their own mortality,
Mention Fox die.
what waits in death.
You're right. But we don't know where Naomi is.
It's a hell of a lot people for
Naomi.
easier to be comfortable with that notion if they have a strong faith in God. People that don't are generally in utter despair.
Snake.
Colonel. Good to see you.
I was kind of confused first time I saw this because the
You're
Colonel,
not a colonel anymore, Snake.
I figured the only
last time I saw him was in Metal Gear Solid 2.
daughter's wedding.
He played quite a different
What are you
role.
doing these days?
I'm working for an organization under the UN Security Council. The Analysis and Assessment Staff of the PMC Oversight and Inspection Committee.
Yeah, I remember the resolution being passed a few years ago.
Snake, I came across some information in my work. We found him. In the Middle East.
What?
I'll explain along the way. We've got to stop him. Now. Before it's too late.
Liquid's made his move. We found him.
He's preparing to unleash his insurrection. Liquid is lying in wait in a Middle Eastern war zone. Track him down.
Metal Gear Solid 3 was a prequel to the entire series. The last time you saw Roy Campbell and Otacon and all those dudes was in Metal Gear Solid 2. A lot of weird shit happened in that game. It was the one that was known for throwing the official canon out into the wildfire. There was a lot of,
Only 2 eggs today?
how would I say it?
Holidays must have taken the day off. 7, 8, 9, 2, 5, 9, 0, 3.
There was an expression I used to use. I can't think of it at the moment. There was a lot of rabbit holes that they opened that didn't seem like they would be able to explain later on, but they did a pretty good job with this one.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
What's the situation?
I'm just inside the city limits. This place is crawling with lizards.
Ah, AT Corps' unmanned bipedal weapons, officially designated Irving by the US military. They've spread like wildfire among the PMCs. There are more of those things now in service than tanks. They've got tough armor plating and are highly agile to boot. Your best bet is to stay out of their sights.
Unmanned. Pretty soon they'll have put living, breathing soldiers out of work.
Even so, that's an awful lot of gecko for this scenario. Their numbers exceed the war price for that region. Must have something to do with Liquid's arrival on the scene.
You really think he's here?
You'll have to find the Army's operatives and ask them yourself. Oh, and Snake, I went ahead and used the Mark II to scout out the area before your arrival. You'll find it up ahead.
Mark II?
It's a remote mobile terminal. Sonny and I built it. The Mark II will provide you with a map of the area as well as any battle situation data. You should find it before you do anything else.
Okay, got it.
The rendezvous point is marked on your map. I'll be waiting for you there.
I generally don't do stealth when I play these games. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. striker. With what looks like a 50 caliber on top. Could be a 20mm autocannon though. Compress. What does it say about the cigarettes? The boss.
Avoid unnecessary combat.
Funny how it says smoking too much is a hazard to your health, but once you start, then you're pretty much addicted.
Got it?
I don't know of anyone that just smokes occasionally. A Molotov cocktail. I understand the original Molotov was created by the Finnish in the Finnish-Russian War, which, for some reason, is not considered part of World War II for some godforsaken reason. They were quite advanced. It wasn't just gasoline in a bottle. They had a lot of different stuff going into them. I mean, it took place during World War II, but for some reason it's considered a separate war.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements.
Instant noodles. I'm not in here. Yet. Mark 17. A reload a circle, that's going to take me a while to get used to. I don't think I can walk in front of that striker. Maybe I can wait for the turret to turn. Another soldier's coming by. Damn him. Yeah.
It's gonna be tougher to break through. It might be best to avoid that area altogether if you can.
I do believe there is a back way through here. Oh yeah, okay, there it is. Pick up the body, shake him down.
What's going on?
What do you got in there? I could hide under here and regenerate my health. Like, oh. You owed me money, then the body just disappears.
This is HQ.
Don't got enough VRAM. Let those bodies sit there the whole time.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements. Use extra caution.
I couldn't help myself.
HQ, do you read?
I would have been a soldier. I took a couple bullets to the knee. That's a weird way to die. I remember how cool it was. The old Metal Games. The old Metal Gear games used to have some sort of a weird toggle between Iron Sight's view and the third person that you saw me doing just a couple minutes ago. But it didn't really work out all that well. It was a mess in Metal Gear Solid 3, like you couldn't move forward while doing it. In this, he completely reworked the control system so that you could just move around naturally. It was very fluid. It was so good. In fact, it was so good that they continued using it in the next game. I don't think Hideo Kojima planned on making a 5th game. They tried to wrap it up with this one, but who knows, maybe he changed his mind. What we got here? Tasty beverage with rejuvenating properties.
This is HQ. All clear. Understood. The state of alert has been lifted. Resume positions.
All that crouching would make your back hurt. Holy hell. First time I played through this, I was in my 20s. I thought, yeah, probably make it sound worse than it is. No. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. Don't think I can vault over that. A little too high. Yeah, use the triangle button to switch back and forth. You play Metal Gear Solid 5, it's pretty much the same idea.
Who's there? What's going on?
I do believe there's something under these steps. Cardboard box.
Snake, press the crawl button while running to execute a roll. Rolling can help you dodge enemy attacks and get past small gaps and obstacles.
Try to use this sucker. I don't really remember how to use the stun function.
What? What's the enemy?
You could sit here and smack him until he wakes up. But there was a locker around here. He's a heavy boy. Can't drag him quickly. What are you carrying? 7.62 by 51 millimeter. Got Rogaine. Nothing here.
Who was that?
Yeah, you can roll on your backside. You can even just lie flat and play dead. I'm not here.
There's nobody here.
You got lucky. Oh shit.
This is HQ.
What area? Oh, I'm here. Okay.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements.
Man, why you gotta make me walk the plank while I'm getting shot at? A Playboy. I don't even think those are a thing anymore. Aiming's a little drifty. No reload.
It's me, Snake. Snake, it's me.
Otacon.
Like, I just don't understand these gadgets anymore.
Allow me to introduce Metal Gear Mark II.
Metal Gear.
That's right. Just like Rex.
That was the one you fought in the first game.
But this gear's not a weapon. It's a remote mobile terminal designed to provide you with operational support.
Where are you?
I'm in the Nomad. Where else? I'll be watching you through the Mark II.
I don't remember exactly what the Nomad is. I think it's
Hey, I'll be with you in spirit.
kind of like a C-130 airplane.
If you had to dress up as a militiaman, I had the Mark II bring you some goodies. Starting with this. Put it on your left eye.
Looks like an eye patch.
It's totally
Call it
gangsta.
Solid Eye. It's an all-purpose goggle that displays radar images and other data in 3D. You can also switch it over to light-amplifying night vision.
The rebels are out there.
It looks like they've got the government's PMC troops beat, at least in numbers.
And this is their home turf.
Snake, I know this is a sneaking mission, but you'll need to protect...
He's even got the safety off on that weapon. And he just put the safety back on. Attention to detail.
Operator.
That's an
It's
expensive
almost a
handgun.
dresser. And here's a tranquilizer gun.
Thoughtful.
It predates the implementation of the system. By some miracle, it was
45 caliber, 8 rounds.
getting tough these days finding
All
decent
metal.
guns that aren't controlled.
Fires naturally subsonic bullets.
You coming?
Of course. I'll follow you wherever you go. Like this. I'll activate stealth so it doesn't attract any attention. If you need it, just bring up the start button menu.
Got it.
Snake, the informants who said they saw liquid here should be a little further up. Head for the rendezvous point. I've placed a mark on the radar in the upper right corner of the solid eye. It's a war zone out there. Stay on your toes.
Mark II pistol. The operator. Let me update my inventory here. Oh, just comes equipped naturally. I don't think I ever use this thing. Like, ever. And weapons. You're looking at, like, I'd be willing to bet that in real life that pistol now would cost about $5,000. Enhanced stopping power. I'm guessing they're shooting plus P rounds. Power 400. Yeah, that's plus P. Oh, that's kind of funny too. They're actually using foot poundage on the weaponry. And 420 is about what plus P 45 caliber rounds do. 415. Oh no, they're using their own system. Okay. Yeah, the 5.56 by 4.5 at about 100 yards would net about 1,000 pounds of energy. Between 900 and 1,000, depending on what the bullet weight is. No, they're using their own system. Okay. That'll be where I cut this one off.